Hey, this is Math 2, and this is some equations review that we're doing at Buchanan High School as we get ready for Unit 1 at the start of the school year here. I'm going to go through some of the homework solutions here with you to help you out, make sure you're on the right track, just kind of looking at some of the odd problems here. So first of all, number 1, we have 20 plus a g and a 14. I'm going to combine like terms. I have one g and another g, which makes a whole 2 g's. I also have a 20, so I still have a plus 20 equals 14. I want to get the whole number over here to its own side so that we have things grouped together. So I'll subtract 20 from both sides, which gives me a 2g equals 14 minus 20 is a negative 6. Divide both sides by 2, and g is going to equal negative 6 divided by 2 is a negative 3 for number 1. Okay, number 3. I have negative 12, negative 5, negative 6, 9, plus 11. Combine my like terms here. I have an 11 minus 5. 11 minus 5 is 6. So if I take those out here, I really have a plus 6. I can subtract 6 from both sides. So now I have a negative 12 and a negative 6 combined to make a negative 18. And on this side, that's equal to still a negative 6n. So I can divide both sides by negative 6, and what I'm left with then is n, negative divided by negative is positive. N is going to be equal to negative 18 divided by negative 6, which is a positive 3 for number 3. Number 5, again combining like terms, I have an 8p and a minus 3p. 8 minus 3 is a 5p. I can put the 13 on the other side by doing minus 13 here and minus 13 there. So 8 minus 13 is a negative 5. That equals a 5p. To get the p by itself, I divide both sides by 5. And so p is going to be equal to negative 5 divided by 5 is a negative 1 for number 5. Number 7 is a word problem, and it asks you to consider this. The plumber went finish 3 jobs on Tuesday. The first 2 only cost the owner the $45 trip fee because they took very little time to complete. For the third job, the plumber charged a trip fee plus 6 times his hourly rate. Alright, so we know he charged the trip fee of $45 plus 6 times his hourly rate. We can call that H. If the plumber received a total of 303, so total of 303 for the day, what was the hourly rate? So what I did is set up an equation with a trip fee, that's the constant, and then we have this part here, which is going to be proportionally changing with how long he works. So for 6 hours, 6 times the hourly rate, we need to find out the hourly rate here. It's going to be 303. So to solve this, we'll get negative 45. We'll subtract that there. So 303 minus 45, 303 minus 45 is going to be 258. So 6 times the hourly rate equals 258. And to get the hourly rate by itself, we divide both sides by 6. And the hourly rate is equal to $43 an hour. Alright. So, plumber comes to your house, and he stays an hour. It's going to cost you the trip fee, 45 bucks, plus the hourly rate. Hopefully he's not there too long. Let's move down, number 9. Alright, number 9, we're going to use the distributive property here to figure this one out. I'm going to first take the 4 and multiply 4 times negative 2d, which becomes a negative 8d. Then I'll take the 4 and multiply it by the negative 3. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And that's going to be equal to 12 over here. Okay. So far as what we have. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides to get the variable by itself. And so negative 8d is going to be equal to 24. Divide both sides by negative 8. So d equals 24 divided by negative 8 is 24 divided by 8 is 3, but keep it negative, so negative 3. Number 11. Again, use distributive property. Negative 2 times an a is a negative 2a. Negative 2 times a positive 6 is a negative 12. And that's going to equal negative 22. I'll add 12 to both sides. So that negative 2a equals negative 10. So that's what combines there. Divide both sides by negative 2. And we find that over here we're left with is A equals negative 10 divided by negative 2 is a positive 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and a negative divided by negative is a positive. Number 13, I'll start here. We have negative 14 on this side, and we have distribute. Negative 4 times a 9 is a negative 36x, and negative 4 times negative 1 is a positive 4. I'll subtract 4 from both sides, make that go away, and we have a negative 18 equals a negative 36x. I divide both sides by negative 36, and 18 is half of 36, so this becomes a positive 1/2 equals x. And that becomes my solution for number 13. Let's look at the back side here. Number 15, it says that Eli took a fleet of 8 vans for oil changes. All the vans needed windshield wipers, which cost $24 per van. The total bill was $432. Write an equation to find out what each oil change cost and solve the equation. Right, so this is another one similar to the plumber problem, right? You have a van, and you have 8 of them, and each one gets the oil change for $24, or the wipers $24, and then you have the oil change. So basically, we know that for the wipers is 24, we can do it this way, 24 times 8 for the wipers. We know that's true. And then we're going to add whatever 8 vans times the oil change. We'll call that O. Okay, we'll call that O. I don't know, it's not a good letter for this one. It looks like an 80. Let's just call it something different. We'll just say X, because O makes it look like 80. We'll call it X. That's our oil change cost. Is going to equal 432. So same idea. So what you're going to do is multiply that, and then move that over there, then divide by 8, and you'll solve for X. I'm going to leave it like that, and you can work on that on your own. Number 17. We're going to get the R by itself, so I'm going to add a 1/5 over here. So instead of minus 1/5, we're going to add a 1/5. 4 plus 1 is 5, so you end up with 5/5, which equals 1. So we have 5R equals 1. Divide both sides by 5, and R equals 1/5. Number 19. I'm going to add 4.5 over here, 4.5 over here. So I end up with 5, 12, 7, 8, 12.25 equals 1.75 T. I want to get the T by itself, so I divide both sides by 1.75. Alright, and 12.25 divided by 1.75 is 7. So T equals 7 for number 19. Number 21. We're going to go ahead and subtract 7.85 from both sides. Okay, and we have 20.75 minus 7.85, and we have it left with a 12.9 here, equals negative 2.15 C. To get the C by itself, I divide both sides by negative 2.15, negative 2.15, divided by negative 2.15, and C is going to be equal to negative 6. So, got a little math there. I used my calculator just to help out a little bit there. Number 23 asks you to do some writing, describe how you would solve this one here. So you probably want to talk about how the first step would be to distribute the 1/9 through the whole process there, combine your like terms, and then solve for T. So they want you to write out your steps for how you would do that. And finally, number 25, the last one I'll do here today with you guys. We have a fun little fraction one here. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute first of all. So 5/7 K becomes 5/7 K plus 5/7 times a 5 is going to be 25 over 7 is equal to negative 7. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and move the 25 over to here. So 5/7 K and subtract it is going to equal to negative 7 minus 25/7. I can't really do that without a common denominator. So for a common denominator, I'm going to go ahead and use 7 as a common denominator. To do that, I'm going to turn my negative 7 into negative 49 over 7. Because 49 divided by 7 is going to be negative 7. Now, I could do negative 49 and a negative 29 and combine those, and we have 74. So we have 5/7 k equals negative 74 over 7. Okay. Now at this point here, I can go ahead and I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, 7/5, in order to get the k by itself. And by doing that, I have the k here, no problem. The 7's cancel out, and I have negative 74 over 5. So that's my fraction answer, is k equals negative 74/5. It does say round to the nearest hundredth if necessary, so if your teacher wanted you to divide that out, you would say 5 goes into 74, put a decimal point there. It goes into 7 one time, there's 5. It goes into 24 4 times, so that's 20. We have our 4 there, and it goes into 48 times. So you could say it's also negative 14.8. All right, hope that helps you out a little bit with your homework today, and good luck.